Good evening, everybody. Hi, welcome back to the episode 2 of Your Doctor. Now, they say knowledge is not power, knowledge is potential power. Knowledge plus action is power. As I mentioned last week, that we have started this segment of Your Doctor so that you don't have to go and search in the Google and misled by what it's representing. We are inviting the experts in their own field, and we can listen from the experts and learn from the experts. And that is the whole purpose behind this your doctor. And I'm excited today to have in our discussion panel one of the very unique doctor I have come across, and very unusual way of his approaching. It has been out there in the world. There has been a lot of talk about this, but what is really all about? Have you heard about intermittent fasting? Have you heard about diabetic reversal? Have you heard about how to lose weight in a very proper step-by-step manner? And that's what we're going to discuss today. And we had an eminent doctor from Sri Lanka who is doing it in and out, and he has been creating a wave among his own community. Now, he is a medical officer at psychiatric division at Teaching Hospital Ratnapura, have 10 years of experience in weight loss and fitness field, diabetic reversal, lifestyle medicine. And he has developed a method called the method, why he has more than 300,000 followers, and day in, day out, they have been practicing and they are getting benefited. Now, this is to I want to clarify one thing before I bring in the doctor. Everybody has a choice of lifestyle. So this is another way of living your life without medicine, without actually adjusting your lifestyle so that you're able to enjoy your life to the fullest. You don't have to depend on medication, and you can have a healthier life, a longer, prolonged life. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, please give a huge virtual round of applause to Dr. Janaka Wanaku. Doctor, welcome to the show, Your Doctor. Thank you very much for joining, Doctor. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me, sure.
Great. So, Doctor, let's get into the discussion. I know you're a man of action. My first question to you, what is the overall scenario of lifestyle disease in Sri Lanka?
Yeah, when we talk about it, about the situation, it is actually we are in a pathetic situation, right? Recently, there is one research came out. It says 52% of Sri Lankans have diabetes or pre-diabetes, and we have a lot of cases. That is one thing, and 75% of people who are dying in Sri Lanka are dying. The deaths are from mostly from non-communicable diseases such as heart disease, diabetes, cancer, dementia, and liver disease, kidney diseases, things like that. Which is those diseases are consuming almost 75 to 80% of your health budget, and but or most of these diseases can be prevented very easily and very cost effectively through lifestyle modification. Almost 80% of these non-communicable diseases could be prevented, and even at the after starting those diseases, if we can change your, if you could change your lifestyle for a better way, in a proper manner, you can reverse some. There are some illnesses you can reverse. That is it, and the thing is, more these drugs, these diseases, this heart disease, hypertension, diabetes, and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, polycystic ovarian disease, dementia. In Western medicine, we cannot cure these illnesses. We can't. We only treat the symptoms. In diabetes, we just give medication for lowering the blood sugar levels, but we do not treat the insulin resistance. And the insulin resistance is the core of all of these illnesses.
Insulin
Sure.
resistance. Yeah. So,
Sorry.
insulin resistance. So, when you talk about, so how a person should would like, what are the steps a person should take to adjust their lifestyle so that they can reverse it?
Yeah, first, there is this interesting phenomena called insulin resistance. That is, insulin is the hormone that decides what you do with the food that you eat. So, when you eat lot of carbs in your diet, that insulin starts to insulin inside the body. Insulin doesn't work properly because it is overloaded. So with this issue, your whole system gets sick, and the in the modern world that we eat a lot of sugar and carbs in especially in Sri Lanka, a lot of most of the people eat their diet is about 70%, 70 to 80% is carbohydrate at their best. Most of the people eat almost 100% of their meal consists of carbs. So our body is not our I mean evolutionary, we are not supposed to eat that much amount of carbohydrates. So our insulin system, I mean inside our body there is hormonal mechanism. Those mechanisms are not ready for this amount of carbohydrate or sugar, so uh, they get overloaded. So, and following that, we get this insulin resistance and those illnesses. Then, if we talk specifically heart diseases, insulin resistance at your heart, strokes are insulin resistance at your brain, and dementia is called type 3 diabetes, that is insulin resistance at your brain also. And when you talk about kidney diseases, 60% of diabetes kidney transplant patients are suffering from diabetes, and there is excess sugar at your kidneys. And when you talk about cirrhosis, there is sugar and alcohol and excess carbs overloading your liver. And when you think about erectile dysfunctions, almost lot of issues are related to insulin resistance. That is sugar, and polycystic ovarian disease also excess sugar at your ovaries, and oh, lot of these things are directly related to your sugar and carbohydrate consumption. So if you, as a lifestyle choice, you can cut down your carbs and sugar, and if you stop eating your snacks and stick to one or two large meals, when you start to take one or two large meals, potentially that you can reverse most of these conditions at the early stages. You can uh, reverse very easily, but if you develop I mean permanent there, if there are permanent damages, unfortunately we can't do anything, but your condition can be improved drastically if you cut down your carbohydrate and sugar consumption.
So, doctor, so what I can hear is that I have to stop eating rice. Is that advisable? Because I love my rice. I don't want to let go of my rice.
Right. So the thing is, uh, we we are kind of we are old. I mean, humans are walking on this earth for about 2.5 million years, right? So rice came to our food plate within the last 20,000 years. and this amount of sugar and carbs came to our plate only within these 50 years. So within these 50 years only, we got this amount of non-communicable disease, and everybody is getting sick, right? So the thing is, now we are actually most of these diseases are carb related. We can relate it to carbohydrate intolerance, right? Rice contains mainly of carbohydrate. So if you uh, love your rice and you need to eat lot of rice, then you have to be ready for the consequences, and you have to arrange your time to waiting in the long queues in your clinic, and you will have to take lifelong medication, right? Unfortunately, that's the truth, right?
Right.
So you can the researchers are available telling, it is say that you can eat up to 20 to 25% of your plate. uh, can Carbohydrates can be eaten up to 20 to 25% only. If you eat more than that, there will be bad consequences. And up to 20 to 25% of carbohydrate is tolerable to the body. That means you have to limit your carb intake to 20% of your plate. I mean, these include sugary thing, sweets and yams and grains and fruits and vegetables. All of these things should consist. I mean, you have to limit those things to 1/5 of your plate. Right?
Great. Thank God. I have some breathing space. The moment you said 25%, like, oh, thank God. Great.
But
So, doctor,
that consists that that
yeah, go ahead.
consists rice and vegetables together, right? Not
Okay,
just
yes.
rice.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it's rice and vegetable both. That's what the good doctor said. So, now they say, now the processed food, right? Is it okay? I've seen it somewhere. Whatever comes in a bottle, right? If it is processed, it's not good for health. Is it true or false?
The thing is, you can't go wrong if you eat naturally occurring food. There is that if some food comes from a plant, I mean, plant means a factory. It is produced not on your interest, but it is produced mainly for somebody else's profit, right? So they make sure that very cheapest, that they want just the profit. So I don't think they have best interest in your health, right? But if you pick something from a plant or tree, or that if you eat meat, fish or eggs, you can't go wrong. That's how we used to eat for 2.5 million years, right? So these processed food uh, came to the market, and people started to eat those processed food at large scale within the last 50 years. So this is where we started to get ill in large uh, quantities. I mean, almost a few years back, last year, an American research came out that only 8% of Americans are cardio-metabolically healthy. 92% are not healthy cardio-metabolically. So, so that is a very frightening. Those are very frightening numbers, right? Uh, so everywhere, USA, UK, Australia, everywhere it is like that. And in USA, their expected lifespan is at birth is going down for the last few years. And we are having the in Sri Lanka, we are having the highest diabetes rate among the world. One of the highest diabetic rate uh, countries in the world. So uh, so that's it.
Okay, wow. So, one of the highest number of diabetic. So,
Yeah.
you're talking about diabetic reversal, so which is a lifestyle adjustment. So if you can share with us, for the benefit of the audience, what kind of lifestyle adjustment are you advising?
Yeah, I already mentioned what you can do. Diabetes is diagnosed with uh, high elevated blood sugar levels, fasting blood sugar, postprandial blood sugar, and HbA1c. Right, but so our target is when we treat diabetes patients. Conventionally, our target is trying to keep their blood sugar levels below 6.5 or 5.6. Right. Excuse me. Uh, Give me a second. Uh, Excuse me. Right. Our blood sugar control, I mean diabetes control is by we we measure diabetes control uh, from HbA1c, fasting blood sugar, and postprandial blood sugar. Right. When those numbers are at the desired level, we say your blood sugar control is good. So these parameters are directly linked with your carbohydrate consumption. Right? When you eat a lot of rice and sweets, your blood sugar levels goes up. What you eat, the carbohydrate in your plate goes into your body and it is digested and turned into glucose, and that glucose makes your blood sugar go up, right? Even these complex carbohydrates make your blood sugar go up. So if you cut down your carbohydrates, your blood sugar levels come down and your insulin resistance will be lowered and you become insulin sensitive, and basically you can reverse your diabetes, right? So what are we left to eat with? I mean, if you cut down your carbs and I mean rice and jams and fruits and vegetables, if you cut down those things, we are left alone with very few choices: fish, meat, eggs, coconut, and fermented milk products. So those foods contain fat and protein. They are very nutritious and they can give you enough energy to for your uh, to maintain your workload. I mean, to work, right? And the other important thing is we don't need 1 gram of carbohydrate to survive. Our body, our liver can produce enough glucose to run our body. So we don't need to eat a single gram of carbohydrate from outside, right? That is a proven thing, and this diabetes reversal is not a new thing. Uh, yeah, it's kind of new thing. Only last year we came into consensus that diabetes reversal uh, what you call diabetes reversal is defined as HbA1c level 6.5, below 6.5, without drugs for 3 months. If you can maintain your HbA1c level below 6.5 for 3 months, you are considered that your diabetes is in remission. A long remission is you maintain this without at 6.5 for about 1 year. It is considered a long term remission. These are international guidelines. So this is nothing new that I have found, and it is 100% according to our Western medicine practices. So the thing is, in my practice, I consider your diabetes remission should consider HbA1c levels should come below 5.6 to say it is a diabetes remission. That is my standards, not the international standards. When I treat people, I make sure they get their blood sugar levels below 5.6, and lower the better. 6.5 is considered pre-diabetic level. So normal blood sugar level is your HbA1c should be below 5.6. Can't hear you.
Yeah. In order to do that, what you're suggesting that cut down on your carbs and sugar, and focus. I mean, eat more fat and vegetable and
No, 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 no,
and
no. Fat and protein, not vegetables, right?
fat and protein. Sorry, yeah, fat and protein. But then again, the other school of thought is that if we eat fat, we will gain fat, isn't it? How about that?
Yeah, it makes sense if you eat fat. It is said uh, you are what you eat. There's an old saying, and we think that when we eat fat we get fat, but it is not. It is not what is happening inside our body. When we eat fat, it goes direct to our bloodstream and used as an energy. Right? When you eat a lot of carbs, it goes to our liver and turned into fat, and it is transported throughout the body with via triglycerides and some form of cholesterol, triglycerides and VLDL. That is how heart diseases happen. Our elevated triglycerides level is an indication of excess carbohydrate and your insulin resistance, right? And this triglycerides level and HDL ratio can predict how soon you are going to get a myocardial infarction or heart attack, right? If you want to uh, lose weight and lose fat, you have to eat a lot of fat and cut down on carbs, and and you should eat a lot of fish, meat, eggs, and coconut products and fermented milk products such as curd, right? This is not a new knowledge. Before 1965, the first book on weight loss is written by someone called I can't 1865. Uh, his name is what do you call him? Mm, the name is later on Corpulence, right? A British guy. His name is sorry, I can't remember it by now.
No
Uh,
problem, doctor. Go ahead.
it is later on corpulence, and it is said that you have to cut down yams and rice and fruit and eat a lot of fish, meat, and eggs. Basically, those were the prescription for weight loss until 1965. Then at 1965, uh, some people start to say heart disease is caused by uh, excessive consumption of animal fat. So you have to cut down animal fat in order to cure heart disease. But which is unfortunately still it is not proven uh, beyond doubt. Right? They are still trying to prove it, but it couldn't be proved. But and still our cardiac deaths, I mean heart diseases, deaths from heart disease is going on, which is a very sad situation.
Got it. So what you're saying is that it's so for fat, it's there is no empirical evidence that fat causes cardiac disease and other diseases, right? Am I correct?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, great. So how about fruits? Do they have sugar? Fruits healthy, right? To have it.
Right. Fruit is actually what we are eating is uh, not original fruit. It is a modified version of fruit, and we have put lot of sugar into the fruit by altering the original type of fruit. That if you can remember, about 50 years back, fruits were very smaller than this, and they are sour, not not very sweet. And it is said that the most uh, in the pre-agricultural era, the sweetest fruit is as sweet as the modern day carrot, right? So fruits were not used to be sweet; they were used to be sour and kind of there is some amount of sweetness, but the thing is later we put a lot of sugar fructose into the fruit in order to sell them, Fructose is addictive and it sells. That is the agriculture and everybody wants to sell something. So fructose is very it is selling, right? Basically, when we think about food industry, they can't survive without fructose, right? And most of our diseases are related to excessive carbohydrate and fructose consumption. And we today our average fructose consumption, that is sugar consumption, is way more high than we can tolerate. It is said it is about six less than 6 teaspoons per day we should consume, but it is said that we consume usually more than twice that amount of sugar. Lesser the better, but we are behaving as if more the better, like.
Okay, great. So, what are the fruits you would recommend, which has less fructose or zero fructose?
Right. I would straight away recommend avocado and small amount of nuts and seeds. I mean, cashew nuts and things like that, but not very much in large quantities. And if you can eat some wild flowers like berries and what you call Veralu, Diul, Beli, Nannang, and Kamaranga. Those sour fruits have very much less amount of sugar, and these are good, but not in large quantities. That should consist only about 25% of your. I mean, I ask you to limit your carb consumption to 25% of your plate. So these fruits come into under that category. So you can't eat lot of um, uh, fruits that are even that good. I mean, even if they are good, you can't eat lot of them. You have to moderate it.
So, everything in moderation. Okay, great. Thank you
Not
very much.
everything. No, mate.
Uh,
Not everything. Not
sorry,
everything,
sorry.
right? There's
Yeah,
carbohydrate in moderation, but you can eat
carbohydrate moderation. Yes, sorry for the
you
yeah,
can eat
yeah.
any
So, thank
amount
you for
of
the correction.
fat.
So, you see, this is the thin line between reversal of diabetic and having diabetic, right? So that's why we are having this conversation. So there is a question. I think it's very timely from Udani and Sashika. So both of them are asking if I combine both this thing uh, question. They're saying that what are some simple lifestyle changes that can help prevent diabetes, and even for younger people who don't have it yet. So what are the or and Sashika is asking. So what are the steps? Basically, simple steps that we can follow, whereby somebody who has diabetes can manage it, or who doesn't have diabetes they can avoid it.
Yeah, right. So we talked about it throughout this interview from the beginning. As the first thing is you have to cut down your carbs and sugar consumption below 20 to 25% of your plate, of your whole food amount, right? And you have to cut. Alcohol is also sugar, uh, carb, and alcohol is very toxic to your liver, and it induces diabetes and hypertension and obesity and everything. So you have to cut down your alcohol consumption as much as possible. That is one thing that is very important, and you should not eat. You have to take an early dinner. uh, it is better if you can eat when there is sunlight, right? Not before night. I mean, late evening is good, but at least you have to take your dinner before 7, and you have to delay your breakfast until at least 9. I would prefer, if somebody has a diabetes, I would prefer him to cut down his or her breakfast altogether and go on with what you call lunch and dinner, right? Then basically you are eating 2 meals per day and no snacks, and those meals you should consume it before 7 p.m. And you have to go to bed early. I mean before 10, and when you wake up at the middle of the night, and it increases your insulin resistance and it make you fat and sick. And sleep is very important, that we don't talk much about sleep, but if I can give you, if you can take one message from this whole conversation, that is that I think take home message is you have to sleep before 10, right? And the other message is cut down carbs as much as possible. These two messages will save you a lot of problems, right? And even if you have diabetes, if you can do these two things, your blood sugar control will improve drastically, and if you are lucky, uh, your diabetes will reverse, right? And the other thing is avoid snacking, avoid drinking sugary beverages such as milk, tea, coffee. I mean, coffee with sugar and milk, and your fizzy drinks such as Coca-Cola, Pepsi Cola, and other cola drinks, and Elephant House and everything, right? And this what you call then, yeah. You have to basically go on with fish, meat, eggs, and coconut products and curd. Those things should consist 80% of your plate. Right? If you can stick to these things and do some strength training exercises instead of walking and cycling and Zumba dancing and those aerobic kind of exercises for abs, for your abdominals and walking on treadmill, cut down those on those things and do some strength training. Do some push-ups, squats, walking lunges, bridges, and inverted drawing and things like that. You will improve your muscle mass, lean muscle mass. That is very important. Lean muscle mass is metabolically active. That will consume a lot of sugar and fat, and that will keep you healthy, and that will make you independent uh, during the last 10 years of your life. It is very important. But in the future there will be nobody to look after us. So it is very important that we stay strong till the last days of our lives, because if you don't do strength training now, you will have to wait till somebody comes and change your diapers. Right? This is the sad truth. Then now we talk a lot of about fat loss, but we are in the midst of a large epidemic of uh, weak people. I mean, we have very small amount of lean muscle mass, uh, and you need lean muscle mass because it is the largest metabolically active organ in your body. You need muscles and you need strength to survive, even in this modern world.
Great. Thank you, doctor. Thank you very much, doctor. A quick question on, we use vegetable oil to cook, right? Is it healthy? If not, which type of oil is healthy?
Right. Vegetable oils were basically the vegetable oils are a waste product, right? In 1800, in 1800s, uh, where vegetable oils were first made from waste product of cotton seed. It was named cotton seed oil, Crisco, and those they made it from the cotton seeds, and they crushed it and made oil, and they were sent to lubricate engines. And then oil from Pennsylvania were cheaper, so the Procter and Gamble took over this Crisco production, and they deodorized it and made it edible, and they marketed it as heart healthy, right? Then after the other things, the vegetable oils came into market, and margarine came into market, and then later in 1975, 77, uh, American government started to say that animal fats are bad, and you have to use plant-based oils, polyunsaturated fatty acid, to protect your heart, right? But there are some paradoxes, right? The paradoxes are people in France eat lot of animal fat, but they don't get they have less heart diseases and obesity than there are the counterparts of America. And Maasai tribe, these people eat almost 100% of their food is red meat, but they don't get heart diseases and obesity and diabetes. And people in Arctic, that is North Pole, Inuits or Eskimos eat only fat and protein. They don't have any plant products, but they don't get cancer or heart disease or diabetes. But when they come down to modern world, I mean to Canada or to Norway or other countries, they when they start to eat a lot of carbs, like other people, they get heart disease and diabetes and cancer. Right? And other most of our tribes were used to eat meat, lot of meat. Even in Sri Lanka, we used to eat coconut and curd in large quantities, but we didn't get heart disease. Only within the last 50 years, after we were introduced this balanced diet, we started to get this diabetes and hypertension and heart disease and cancer and everything. But nobody questions these incidents or these epidemiological findings, which is very sad. And but with our system as I prescribe my patients, I ask them to eat a lot of fish, meat, and eggs, and coconut products and curd. And I ask them to eat just 2 meals a day. And I ask them to sleep before 10. And we could reverse diabetes very easily, and we were able to lose weight very easily in one few patients, one or two patients. I have monitored them. They have two patients. Those two patients has lost 10 kilograms in 1 month. They were very dedicated and they were training hard and they were following their diet to the word. And those two guys were able to lose 10 kilos within 1 month, and they were able to maintain. Right. Even the people who got this diabetes reversal, we have several patients that they maintain their diabetes reversal for throughout these 2 3 years now, and it is very what you call it is very easy to I mean reverse diabetes and obesity.
So,
I
doctor,
think
so so if vegetable oil is not so recommendable, which oil do you recommend would be good
so.
to
I
use?
recommend natural oils. I mean, I got carried away
Mhm.
at the
Yes,
middle
no
of the
problem. That's
expression.
fine.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I recommend mostly coconut oil that we used to consume throughout our history, and you can eat red meat and the oils in them and butter. And
right.
basically, what I ask my patients to consume is, if you have something that when there's something on your plate, you think you have to think, did my grandparents or ancestors before them ate this food? If the answer is yes, you can eat them. But if somebody from 200 years back has is the food is alien to these our old people, do not eat those food. That is, you have to eat basically natural food.
Got it. So that's a very simple way of putting it. So when you look at your plate, if you see the ancestors have eaten it, so eat them. If not, avoid it. Wow, that's a very simplistic way. Doctor, can you just share some points of your Wanaku method? Ladies and gentlemen, we have shared our Facebook link on our chat. Please go ahead and like that page, which is Wanaku method. Doctor, would you just brief the audience about what is it all about?
That we were talking about quantum method throughout this interview, and it is basically a combination of intermittent fasting, low carb diet, and strength training, and going to bed early, and stress management. Right? We ask you to take 2 meals a day, lunch, which is basically lunch and dinner, and you have to take these 2 meals within 8 hours of the time. I mean, 12 lunch at 12, dinner before 7, and go to bed before 10. And you have to do 2 strength workouts per week. That is squat, push-ups, walking lunges, bridge, and rowing. Uh, you don't need to go to a gym to do those exercises, and as many rounds as possible within 20 minutes. You can find those how to do those exercises, and how to make a circuit from my YouTube channel, Wonderful Method. And these are and you have to avoid snacking, and you have to avoid 5 types of food, that is sugary food, sugar and sweets, and avoid processed food, and avoid the vegetable oils such as sunflower oil, corn oil, margarine, things like that. And the other thing is avoid white this refined carbs, uh, vegetable oils, and processed food and sugar. Those things you have to avoid. Right?
Doctor, refined carbs means bread, right?
Yeah, bread. Even even brown bread is refined carbs, right?
So, but they say brown bread is so healthy to eat, right? But it's but you're okay.
So yeah, it
And
is
how about
it is healthy, but you don't believe me. Uh, I mean, you don't have to believe me. You eat some 2 or 4 slices of brown bread and check your blood sugar after 2 hours, and you can see by yourself.
okay? How about pole roti, coconut roti?
So pearl roti is there is also roti. No, I mean it is made by refined carbs, and even atta piti is not good. In my view.
Okay, great. Ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it from Dr. Janaka Wanapua. Doctor, one more question from Sashika. She's saying that for a vegan person, not a vegetarian, vegan person, what would be the alternative they can have for protein?
Unfortunately, I have gave up giving instructions to vegan people. But since you asked me, there is very limited sources of protein for a vegan person. And if you are a vegan, you have to be on supervision of a nutrition, because a vegan diet is an unhealthy diet. It is not sustainable with health. Unfortunately, you will fall in one day, right? Because you are lacking essential vitamins and minerals and amino acids and fatty acids, right? To get those things, you have to eat meat, fish, and eggs, right? At least 3 times a week, you have to eat fish. If you are even if you are a vegan, otherwise, so uh, for protein sources, I mean, protein per se is not enough. That you need a lot of other vitamins and minerals. Those things are lacking in a vegan diet, and vegan diet is detrimental to a growing child, right? And they do not grow to their full potential, and they are and to a mother, lactating mother, or if you are planning to get pregnant, you have to, you can't sustain. I mean, your child will be. There is a research available that saying that vegan mothers, children, I mean, newborns are low birth weight than people who eat meat, right? So. mm you can eat tofu, paneer, and some amount of this what you call mushrooms, and you can get some amount of protein from peas, and some even grains have some amount of protein, but the bioavailability of the protein from plant source is very much less. So even if there is protein in peas, or cowpeas, they cannot be absorbed into your blood, into your body. So I do not recommend. a vegan diet or vegetarian diet to anybody.
Right.
So that yeah, you have to
Great.
be clear on that. That we people, humans, are not vegans. We are even not omnivores. We are carnivores. We are top predators for the last 2 million years. We became humans by starting eating meat. Right? Our vegetarian and vegan ancestors are still up in the trees, wagging their tails. We lost our tail and we started to walk with our 2 foot and on our feet, and we developed all these marvelous. Uh, we conquered the world because we started to eat meat 2.5 million years back, right? The researchers are available, the anthropologic evidence are available. They clearly indicate that humans are carnivores. We were used to be the top predator. That means we are in the highest. We are in the top of our food chain, right? So yeah, that's it. That's our
Okay,
nature.
great. Okay, great. Thank you for reminding us about the nature, our human nature, Doctor. So my we're actually at the almost at the end of the conversation, and so one more this thing you said to skip breakfast. Now, when I first heard that, I was very upset. Like, how can I skip my breakfast in the morning? But then, how do your patients get used to it? What happens there? Is it possible to skip breakfast? I'm actually talking about intermittent fasting.
Yeah, the thing is, uh, taking an early morning breakfast is not good. At least you have to wait about 1 hour after waking up to eat something. Until that, you should better drink water, right? Uh, First thing is the thing is that our liver can produce enough glucose early in the morning um, to run our brain and everything, right? There is a but when we were uh, in the jungle and when we were hunting before agricultural era, uh, we didn't have fridges or instant food or something that have that we cooked early in the morning. So we used to go hunting empty stomach, and the necessary fuel is produced by liver, and we ate in the late in the afternoon after doing some hunting. Up to that, we can survive with the glucose produced by our liver and from the uh, ketosis from the stored fat in our body. That is the nature of human evolution, and still we can survive on these things. Um, and if you can't stop your breakfast at once, you can reduce the amount that you eat in the morning, and gradually you can cut down, or you can delay the breakfast by half an hour per week, and gradually bring it down to the lunchtime. And the other thing is you can cut down all the carbohydrate in your breakfast and eat just 2 eggs for the breakfast, or 2 cups of curd in for the breakfast, and then later you can reduce the amount and call it the quantity and cut down it altogether. That is how I advise my patients who ask me how to cut down, how to stop taking the breakfast.
Great. Thank you very
Some
much, Doctor.
people,
Yeah, go ahead.
some people, they straight away stop their breakfast. I don't know how. It took me a while to stop breakfast and go straight away for the lunch. But it is doable. But you have to do. But what I want to emphasize is, you have to take baby steps. Right? Don't do drastic things at once, because those when you do drastic things, that they are tend to they are very uh, they are not very consistent, right? When you do small changes and be consistent with those things, you get results not very fast, but they are consistent. Now we are going to live another 10 or 20 or 30 years now. So we have to uh, make changes. I mean, we have to make small habits and we should practice them consistently. That's how your health is, you can regain your health. Don't go on a diet, don't do crash diets, and you have to make sustainable changes in your life. That's how that's how it is done.
Great, doctor. Thank you so much. So I love the fact what you mentioned. Build your habits slowly, not suddenly, so that you cannot sustain. Because it's all about sustainability of your habit. My last question: sleeping. You emphasized on sleeping several times. How many hours we must sleep?
Yeah, available researchers say people should sleep 7 hours, 6.5 to 7 hours per day. It is a J curve, right? If you sleep more than 8 9 hours, it is not good for your health. If you sleep less than 6.5 or 5 hours, it is not good for your health, right? The optimal amount of sleep you should is 6.5 to 7. That depends on your that depends on your personal preferences, and some people need less sleep, some people need more sleep, but the optimal amount of sleep is 7 hours according to the large amount of research body available. You have to sleep it uh, and you have to sleep between 10 and 5 a.m. That is the best time to sleep. You shouldn't stay late at night. That makes your hormonal system go uh, haywire. And it is they don't work properly if you are sleep deprived, and it is very bad for your mental health and for your memory, especially for people who study. They must sleep 7 hours. When you when you are sleep deprived, your memory is very much affected.
How about using devices? When we should stop before sleeping? How many hours before we must stop using devices?
At least 2 hours, because when we look at the devices, our brain identified it as sunlight, and because the device is flickering, it has a blue light, and so our body do not produce melatonin to fall asleep, so we don't feel sleepy. We have to, I mean, we have to at least before 2 hours. That means 8 p.m. By 8 p.m. you have to switch off your phone, laptop, computer, and tab, and every screen, and you have to switch off half the bulbs at your home if you want to fall asleep by 10. And I know this is very difficult, but it is not. It is doable. You have
Yes,
to, if you need a change, I mean, if you want to change your health level, if you want to increase your health, uh, you have to change the things that you do, right? Only after that you can see the changes.
yes. Brilliant. Thank you so much, doctor. Any other last thoughts? Any last messages for our audience?
Yeah, the last messages are, the first thing I want to emphasize is uh, diabetes is reversible. It is very easily reversible. Just cut down carbs and eat more fish, meat, eggs, coconut, and curd, right? And you don't need carbohydrate to sustain your life. And I would say most of our illnesses are due to excess carbohydrate and sugar, right? That is the main message that I want to get you through, right? Get through to you. And sleep is very important. You have to sleep before 10, and doing cardio and ab work and walking on treadmills are less optimal. Uh, so you have to do some strength training and build up your lean muscle mass and make up your posture and build. I mean, your bone should be strong if you are planning to not to suffer in the last 10 years of your life, right? So start strength training today, tomorrow maybe too late. So these are the messages that I want to emphasize.
Great. Thank you so much, Doctor. I have learned so much during this interview, and thank you very much for being there for us and then showing us a way, where people can exercise this, go back to their basic, and adjust their lifestyle, and have a better quality of life. Thank you for being a beacon of light for that. Really appreciate your contribution. And I myself, personally, I'm a big believer. Right after I met Dr. Wanaku, and he has really contributed in my lifestyle. That's for sure. And I'm a living, breathing example of whereby I've stopped taking my insulin and I've cut down on my medication. I take only one or two medication when it comes to my diabetic medication, and so in a process of stopping those as well. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to do this and share this with the professional who has helped me. Thank you, Dr. Janaka, for being here. And ladies and gentlemen, please go ahead and like Wanaku Method, the Facebook, and go and see him
YouTube.
and give you a different perspective how to live a better life. And appreciate your time. Thank you very much, all the audience, for being here this evening. Next month we will be having another episode on exercise and how it can impact our life. And we will be having Dr. Janaka back again. Doctor, thank you very much for being here, and have a wonderful week ahead. Thank you so much. And
Thank you very
before
much for it.
I wanted to say one thing. Sorry, before I finish, I wanted to say one thing, which is, uh, you're looking for a result by taking same kind of a action. It's insane. So I would like to emphasize what Dr. Janaka said. If you want to have a different result, do something different. So, sleeping 7 hours, and getting off your devices 2 hours before, those are the things will make a big difference. So do differently, get a different result, which will help you to have a better life. Thank you very much.